Welcome back this week. This is season 3, episode 12. I'm Renzo Rosato.
And I'm Gaston Rosato, and boy, do we have some good stuff for you. This is the epitome of Ferrari. Front engine V12 monster. The 575 Maranello. A car so great that they put the town name on it. This is what Ferrari embodies. We have to go for a drive and we have to discuss a little bit about why this particular car is such a bargain in today's market.
I'm really excited about this review. Before we start, hit that subscribe button for us. We're trying to reach that 10,000 subscriber mark. Let's go for the drive.
Let's do it.
Excited about this car, let me tell you.
This car is a bargain, okay, for what it stands for compared to today's market value, okay?
Right.
This is an inventory of the barn. You can check out the link down below. You'll see the description. You'll see what I'm talking about as far as bargain is concerned, okay? Now, what I love about this car is that unlike a lot of today later model cars, you know, everyone specs it out to these crazy, you know, carbon fiber this, carbon fiber that. This car is very simplistic and is that more that of a luxury car versus, you know, a sports car. We're wrapped in leather here.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know how many cows it took, but it took more than one. You got that big long hood, which you need because you're fitting that massive 12-cylinder in there.
So 5.7 liter, hence the 575.
Right, exactly. Unlike the 550, it was a 5.5 liter.
Right.
V12.
And it's a very similar looking car when you look at both of them.
Aesthetically, if you don't know the difference, you look at them fast, you don't know it. But there is very subtle, especially, you know, a lot of aerodynamic enhancements to this car. This is a much more powerful car than what the 550 was. Yes. This is the 575M. M, meaning not Maranello. M is for modificado, so modified.
Correct.
It is the evolution of the 550.
Right, and if you guys have noticed, I'm not shifting gears down here.
Yeah.
So I do have the F1 transmission.
Yeah, so people are probably saying, oh, it's F1, that sucks. No.
But this car does hold a place in history. It's the first Ferrari V12 that comes with the F1 transmission.
Comes with the F1 transmission. And part of why this car is such a massive bargain in today's market. And they're not incredibly mass produced. In fact, very few of these cars came here to the United States.
Yeah, I think a total.
At least for 2002, which is the initial year for this car.
Right. Ferrari produced the F1 transmission more than they produced the manual transmission because that's what the people wanted. People were excited about this F1 transmission back in 2002.
Well, you know.
And getting that option. It's the car that they knew they were going to sell the most of, which is cool to think about because for me, 2002 doesn't feel like that long ago. And now we're shying away from the F1s. We all want the manual transmission. So this car revs all the way to 7,000, about 500 RPM.
7,500 RPM for a V12, that is a lot of revs. From this angle, I never noticed it sitting in the driver's seat actually, but I'm looking at it right here. The bezel on the tachometer has an inner dial showing you the intervals of the, RPM.
All right, Gaston, the 575M. What a car.
It's so aggressive, it's so beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
What I love about this car is, if you look at the 275, you know, the classic Ferraris, that 60s, 70s era, you can see how this evolved into that.
You're totally
You know
right.
what I mean? Of course, both being Pininfarina design cars.
So the 575, its predecessor was a 550, but like we mentioned in the car, it's a very similar car when you look at it on the outside, but there are some changes to that car. Not only cosmetically, mainly in the interior, but mechanically as well. This car comes with bigger disc brakes. As we mentioned, the car comes with a 5.7 liter V12 versus a 5.5. This car producing 500 and about 15 horsepower. The 550 was 480 horsepower. So you're talking about a 30 horsepower difference.
Definitely much more car. However, the 550 was a manual transmission car, right?
And this is the reason why the 575, people were so excited about the F1 transmission, making it an easier car to drive, an easier car to enjoy.
This car, however, did come manual.
Yes, but I think it was less than 300 total.
Very rare to find this car manual, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Right. First of all, we can't ignore that beautiful scoop in the front. And usually you find these scoops more centered into the hood. This is pushed all the way up to the front.
Forward. We got 5-spoke wheels, red calipers.
We got our gills here on the side.
You got the Scuderia shields, giving you that very classic Ferrari contrast, red and yellow. It has these hips that just like open outward, and they're almost just flat. That's how wide it is. And then you have one vent on this side, but not the other side.
So we only have one vent on this side here?
It's not symmetrical right there.
And that could be because of the gas cap. The gas cap is located on this side.
Right.
That's actually pretty cool. And we know that the successor to this car was the 599 GTB, another amazing front engine V12.
Which hopefully we'll have on the show soon.
Yes.
Maybe we'll make that a GTO.
Maybe. Gotta stay tuned. Wow, look at that.
Look at that. Even their engines are,
Pieces of art.
they're just, I'm assuming they do that purposely, you know, the way they design it. I think it's functionality first and then design, but they get them both. They're just so good. The Italians are really good at that.
Let's appreciate how big this engine bay is.
It's massive.
It's massive.
We're looking at a 22,000 mile example. It's not an extreme low example, and it's not a car that's been totally driven. It falls in this perfect little place where you get true bang for your buck on this level. The car, look, has its original key fobs, original keys, it's got its books, its indoor car cover, everything, you know, service history, a very well maintained car. That's where the true value lies in these cars, the ones that are documented, the ones that have been in proper hands and properly maintained.
It's pretty cool. Now I'm noticing the duct that we talked about on the hood. You have the two entryways of the air right here. When you close the hood, it lines up perfectly to get that fresh air into that engine.
Absolutely. Everything's going to be functional on a sports car, especially the Ferrari. All right, we're back from that wonderful drive. We got wet today. What a miracle. Car didn't melt. We're advocates of driving, guys. It's okay. We had to wash this thing down nice anyway, get it ready for sale.
Let's talk a little bit about production numbers on these cars and why this car is such a bang for your buck, like you say. There was about 2,000 cars produced total, the 575Ms. Less than 250 were actually manual cars, so making that manual transmission very scarce. What's the value of this car? What's the value of the manual transmission?
Right.
You know, let's get an idea of that.
Those numbers are very accurate, but what's even more important, much less than that, only a little over 200, at least in 2002, of these cars came into the United States.
Wow.
You can say the same of scarcity as far as the F1 transmission is concerned for this car. Yes, if you do find a stick shift car, you're gonna pay over $100,000 in premium compared to this.
Really?
Now that's why I find this car in particular such a bargain, minus that manual transmission,
Yeah.
for $100,000 less. If there's such big gap in the market right now, I feel like over time it will close, giving this one much more room to grow versus the manual transmission in today's market right now, at least. So these cars, you can pick them up depending on mileage, service history, so on and so forth, you know, under 100,000 or a little over 100,000. This one's very competitively priced based on a clean history, based on service history. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you stick around. Hit that subscribe button so you can continue watching us on a weekly basis, always bringing you new inventory, new cars, showcasing the community, showcasing the city. Links down below on everything where you can find us. I'm Gaston Rosato.
If you want to know the price of this car, hit the link below so you can find out at the Barn Miami website. I'm Renzo Rosato. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.